The Sheffield United fan community lost much-loved content creator, founder of the 𝗕𝗿𝗵𝐸, and graphic designer for almost every Blades-related YouTube channel, Jonny Gascoigne. It has been a loss felt throughout football, with support coming from all corners. The outpouring of love has, for some, I'm sure, been overwhelming, and that is testament to the man Jonny was.
We'd now like to welcome Jonny's father, a friend, a fan, Kevin Gascoigne. Thank you for joining us on the Sheffield United Way.
My pleasure, my pleasure. Nice to be back on the camera again. I've missed it.
Well, Kev, it's good to see you again. We've met in person before, of course, many years ago, and when we first started seeing you, but you've become a bit of a familiar face, as you're sort of alluding to, from the channel, and we're going to talk about that. But I think the most important question every Blade will be asking is, how are you doing? How are you and the family holding up?
It's been the worst 2 weeks of my life. I've got to say that. We had a little break in the middle last weekend just to get away from it all, because really from the night when we were called to his house, it's just been total misery and grief and just not being able to understand it, really, because although we've known he's been suffering with his mental illness, we never ever thought he would. And the video he did in the last one of the vlogs, it's unbelievable. Why didn't he take his own advice? That's the overriding thing, you know. Is he went from being the happiest bloke alive a month ago to suddenly hearing voices and things like that. It just totally changed him. And as I say, that's all happened in the last month or so. But even then, there was a patch in the middle where he'd had one episode, and then he became Jonny again. And then that weekend, he just completely lost it. And I don't know. It's hard to explain. But as he said in that video, talk to people. You know, we've all got so much love for him. But I don't suppose when them thoughts are in your head, I don't suppose that really matters. You're only thinking about the voices. I know for a fact that he would never knowingly have left his kids like this. Never. And so that's why we say it wasn't Jonny. It was the thing in his mind. So, yeah.
You just mentioned it then, the last line of his bit to camera when he was talking about, I'm paraphrasing here because I've not got it written in front of me, but the world's a much better place with you in it. And it's heartbreaking to watch that. It really is.
Yeah, because the world was a much better place with him in it, and that's for definite. So, yeah.
Yeah, we all know that. Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
So, Kev, tell us about Jonny for those that didn't know him.
Jonny, right? Where do we begin? His life, really, all he ever wanted to do, he was a superb artist. He could draw anything you wanted him to draw. He was brilliant at all this media stuff. You could ask him to do a video for something, and he'd knock it up straight away. He'd just got a brilliant brain, but I often think he just didn't believe in himself. He didn't realise how good he was, and that's come across since his death. The amount of people that have said what a brilliant person, how brilliant he was at putting it together, and how he came across as being a brilliant person, which a lot of the time he was. He had his moments, believe me. We didn't always see eye to eye. We had our big fallouts, but it always came back again, sort of thing. So he was loved. He was loved by everybody, and I don't think he believed it sometimes. So that's where the thing that hurts, really. Even now you wanted to just get hold of him and say, Jonny, we love you. You haven't got to listen to these things in your head. Listen to us. But the demons just took over him. It wasn't the first time when he actually did this. He had episodes before of tying overdoses and things like that. And but he always fought back, and that's why we're so shocked by this. Really, it must have been something really going on in there, because can't believe he did it. Honestly, can't.
Yeah, that's how I think we all felt. And Kev, I mean, we've spoken about this before, but I said to Jonny, when I used to hear him on things like Talk Sport, and we actually saw Talk Sport put a lovely message on social media, I used to tell him how good he was. And you agreed he was so good at doing that stuff, but he didn't believe he was good at that. He didn't believe in himself.
Yeah, he spent so many hours. That's the thing. Not just for the Shoreham View. He's done things for fans from Millwall, from all over the place. It'd help anybody out, and the hours he put in. Sometimes I think that's what did him, because he used to drink so much bloody energy drinks and keep him awake, because he spent so long on these things. So,
yeah. It's true. I mean,
know.
Do you remember, Kev, the first time that Jonny showed an interest in filming Sheffield United content for fans?
Do I remember it? The first one I actually remember, we were going away to Tottenham when we played them in the semi-final at Cup, and we went down to their ground, and that was the first time I really remember having the camera in my face, and creating this character of Big Kev, and that's what he did. He found people, and he made them into what the people that they were, using all their energy to create these different characters. And I think that were about 10, nearly 11 years ago when that happened. So when he really got into it, but he did a course at college in media. I don't think he lasted it out, because he always thought he were better than what they were showing him, sort of thing. So he's always been like that. His brain were always, in front, if we should say that. He could do things without thinking about it. I don't know where he got it from. It certainly weren't from me. So.
Talking about these characters then that were on the vlogs, how close were they to the real people?
What every video that we did was us. There were no acting. That's exactly as we go to an away game. The language, it doesn't suit everybody. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but it's how we are, and we're not going to change and be all la-di-da on a camera just because the camera's facing us. We are blades, and we go away to have fun and to enjoy the day. If we win, lose, or draw, we still come back for more, and that's what it's always been like.
I think I've heard that song from somewhere before. I think
sounds good.
The thing is with
Jonny,
I always start that one at the weekend. No, it's what I always had so much respect for Jonny was he always stuck to his guns, and he's like, I want to make this exact content. He dabbled with different things, but you just knew that he had so much passion for these vlogs. And why do you think these vlogs, the content from these vlogs, resonated with so many people?
Because it's real. It's been a blade, and people watch it and they think, yeah, I'm like that when I go to an away game, or and it picks out the crowd, showing the crowd scenes when we score and things like that. And he always managed to get the goals, always. And, you think, how did he do that? He hadn't got his camera up a minute ago. He's caught the goal, sort of thing, and the celebrations and everything. But I think one of the best ones, though, were the one that I did all the filming for, Northampton away, because I got a golden ticket and he didn't. So I were doing the filming at the match, and Jonny were filming in Sheffield at the same time at the big screening. But that were definitely the best one of them all.
Yeah. I think Nick, you and me and Jonny, we were all at the beanbag.
Were you there as well, Hal?
Yeah, with my dad.
I was devastated that I weren't there. But do you know what? One of the away games I do remember, you were there, Hal, we were there together, was Luton away, and Jonny was so drunk he had to go back to the coach and sleep it off. I remember that one.
Yeah, Kevin and I have been talking about that
not for the first time. Not for the first time.
Yeah. I do remember that. And I mean, you just mentioned Northampton, but apart from ones you filmed, Kev, what's your favourite Shoreham View video? One that you'll always go back to, and no matter how many times you watch it.
100% Wednesday, the Bouncing Day massacre. 100%. That were, I mean, we missed the first 2 goals, and that's all on there, sort of thing. We were held back by Sheffield's finest, and as we were walking along Hillsborough Park, we heard that they'd scored it, and the party in the street on the way in, and then we got into the compound outside the turnstiles, and the second goal went in, and again it was, just crazy. But I thought we were absolutely brilliant that day, and it would have been a great injustice because we should have been 3 or 4 up at half time. But
that was the turn of the tide, weren't it?
Nick, I think it's actually in that video that one blade actually says, "I think we'll lose 3-0." That's how people were feeling before that.
And Wednesday fans said that Billy Sharp's not playing, Leon Clark's playing, we'll be fine. And that was on Ray's View from. Brilliant.
Yeah, he showed him who we were, didn't he? Yeah. It was just like, obviously there's the banter and the supposed hatred between us, and I for one give it out on social media. Like I tried the big fishing wind up merchant sort of thing. So it were great at that time to be top dogs, and we've been there for a few years now, haven't we? So I'm not going to mention Mind the Gap. That's a no.
I'm sure it'll get mentioned a few more times this season. Yeah. But circling back to obviously Jonny's problems, what would you say to anyone struggling with their own mental health, Kev?
I'm 100% talk, no matter what. Like to be fair, since this happened, my head's been all over the place, and I've taken great comfort in talking to people on social media and reading the messages and things like that. Not letting myself go into some sort of letting it do me in, because it's been a tough time. It's really been a tough, and like I ask myself 1,000 questions every day. What could I have done? What could I have done to help him? But unfortunately, once you let it get to that stage, I don't think there's you've got to talk when it first starts happening, and don't be a big man that doesn't cry or don't I'm a very emotional guy. I'll cry at the least little thing. I cried a few times at football matches. It's just talk. And I know that Jonny like the Andy's Man Club. That's one of the things that he tried to promote, because that's what you get. You can't get your head around. He were promoting it to other people, and at the same time, going through it himself. Strange.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and I think you've spoken there really well, and a lot of people will be able to relate to that. And I hope that people listening to this, if you are going through something, you feel like you can always reach out. Certainly to us, myself and Nick, we always welcome, and we always say our DMs are always open. I know it's a bit of a throwaway line, but we really do mean it. And actually,
well, I'm just the same. I've got experience of it now. If people want to talk to me, I'll talk to them for hours. I don't care if it's middle at night. I'll talk to people if it's worth it to save a life. And
spot on.
You can get that deep into it that you do a Jonny, and that's what we've got to try and stop.
Absolutely. And we created a GoFundMe. The link is in the description. It's on Twitter as well. I know you've said you'd like to thank those that have donated so far, Kev.
I've absolutely gobsmacked. Totally. The kindness of people is just unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. We did worry, where's the money coming? Because it weren't insured or anything like that. So, and they're not cheap things, funerals. But the way people have responded to that just blows you away. Absolutely, 100. And it's not just blades, And one of the biggest ones that's really astounded us, I suppose, was the donation from the Prince. the stick he's took on the Shoreham View, you certainly wouldn't have expected him to be putting his hand in his pocket, but he's done it big style, and we're very grateful. Thanks, Prince. Thanks, mate. So, and everybody else. I mean, it doesn't matter whether it's £1 or 50p or whether you just want to put a comment on there. It doesn't matter. It's done the world of good for what it was set out to do. But just the thought that people have done that for us is amazing. Or done it for Jonny, really. Done it for Jonny in gratitude of what he's done over the years. That's the way we look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it is for Jonny, but also it's to make your lives easier, because it must be difficult to kind of grieve whilst also you've got this in the back of your mind, this burden of the financial side of things, because
absolutely,
I can't begin to imagine how hard it must be for you guys right now.
No, as I said earlier, it's the worst thing in my life ever. You just can't. I mean, my brother collapsed and died at Burnley, watching United in '93, and that was you always think, God, nothing will ever be that bad again. But this even takes over from that. It's your own kids. Nobody should bury their own kids, should they? So.
No, absolutely not. But obviously, Sheffield United have got something planned for the Swansea game. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, Kev?
Yeah. A friend of mine called 𝗤𝗿𝗿𝗹𝗹, who's on the supporters committee, he laid the foundations for us, and we've been the club contacted me, and we said, what can we do? Saturday's game were a bit early, and plus they had the thing from Maddick. So it were a bit difficult to get something organised for that one. But on Wednesday night this week, they're going to be there's a piece in the programme, and they're going to have his picture up on the scoreboard. And all I ask people at that time, if everybody can just think of the time that Johnny's put in to doing what he does, if you can spare a minute of your time to give him a round of applause for that, that'd do all this family. And his son, Billy, will be there, and I want to make him the proudest. Nearly lost it there. Nearly lost it. I want to make him the proudest lad in that ground on Wednesday night. So, yeah, and I'm 100% sure the fans will respond to it, and that's great. That's what we want.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely.
Getting me then as well, mate. I mean, that is going to be something. That is the 50th minute.
It's the 50th minute. Apparently, it's club policy. They're not allowed to announce, a minute's applause unless it's for a player or somebody associated with club. So they say it's a 50th minute that they'll put something on for people, and that's the reason, really. So I don't care what minute it is, as long as we get the recognition. So, yeah. I don't know what the significance is of the 50th minute. I don't really know, but I'm just hoping that. I mean, if it were 50th minute last season, there'd have been nobody left in ground, wouldn't there? So, so at least things are a bit better this year.
Yeah, very good. So what happens next? Let's. Do you want to tell us about funeral arrangements and stuff like that? I know we've already spoken about it, and you've put some tweets out there. But would you like to tell the audience out there what's happening?
Yeah, it's on the 19th of October. We're leaving here at my house at 9:30 and driving down past Bramall Lane. As I understand it, it might be going around the car park at Bramall Lane. This has been discussed between United and the funeral directors. So, but as long as he gets to go past Bramall Lane, that's the main thing for us. And then it's up to 𝗤𝗏𝗏𝗏 Wood to about 10:30ish. And we've had to book a double spot because while the funeral director was here the other night, the guy that runs all the cemeteries and things in Sheffield actually rung him up and said, "You're dealing with Jonny, aren't you?" And he says, "Yeah." He says, "Well, can I suggest that you book a double spot because we're expecting thousands to be there." So we've had to book a double spot in the crematorium.
Do you know what, Kev? I felt goosebumps then. I really did when you were saying that. That's incredible.
he knew Jonny, and it's as if everybody knows Jonny. So we really, really want as many blades as possible that can get there. Please turn up and give him some support and give us some support. And we more than want to welcome you back down to Farm Road Club afterwards, and we'll all have a drink together and drink to Jonny. And we don't want it to be a somber sort of day. We want it to be a celebration of the good things that he did, not the bad things that he did. It's all about, you know, everybody having been able to just say thanks, Jonny, thanks, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, well said, Kev. I mean, Nick, do you want to say a few words to Kev about Jonny, and then I'll say some. I know I've spoken to Kev privately, and you have as well, about what he meant to you and maybe some of the stuff he did to help us.
Yeah, it wasn't just us though; it was me personally as well in my job, because some people might not know I do social media for companies and stuff, and a lot of it is filming, and I knew nothing about filming, and Jonny knew everything about filming. The amount of times that Jonny spent trying to explain something to me that I didn't understand because he was so knowledgeable about it. But he wouldn't just send a text, a throwaway text, and then move on with his night. He would literally ring me up and spend 45 minutes on the phone explaining exactly what he's on about. And then after that, he would say, I'll send it over here and I'll do it for you. That is just the man that he was. And it's not just, yeah, exactly. And one of my really good friends, he's a solicitor for a brain injury firm, and he did all the editing for free because obviously charity and stuff like that. He no, fantastic, absolutely fantastic man. Like I said earlier on,
he'd always give his time to anybody. That's the thing. But sometimes you'd say, Jonny, you know, take a back seat a bit, you know. But now he'd be up there at midnight, and he's been here many a time when people have rung, and he were going home, and he's sat down at computer and helped people out. It's unbelievable what the time he spent with other people, and obviously he never did it for money or anything like that or recognition. He did it because he wanted to do it, and he loved doing what he did, and he was so brilliant at it, so innovative. That's the thing. He would always, Dad, will this work? Will this work? You know, like the portable telly that he has things coming up on, and just so innovative in everything that he did.
And do you know what? Those graphics, most people won't have a clue how long 5 seconds of footage would take to edit.
And he'd say, "Oh, I don't think this works just quite yet."
The amount of things that he sent me in the past, graphics, whether it's kind of like graphic design or whether it's video, and he sent me like 2 clips and be like, which is better? And I'm like, Jonny, I don't know the difference between the two, because he's so intricate with his details.
You tell me what's different. Yeah, we have that quite often.
I'll then make
just me. He used to send me these as well, and be like, right, I've got 4 things here. To me, they all looked exactly the same. Like, which one's the best?
Like what Hal said earlier on about most of the things in the Sheffield United sort of social media space was made by Jonny. And I don't think I've ever asked Jonny for anything. It's always like, oh, I think you need this, I think you need that.
Yes.
And I'm like,
not
just
you, not just you. This I said, Plymouth, all Millwall, they've all got bits of Jonny on their work. So you know, that's how he was.
Incredible.
So
so true, so true. And I'm really pleased I was able to lend my voice, because he seemed to like my voice. So you'll hear me on a few things that Jonny's produced.
He absolutely loved Roy's section because it always brought a bit of humour into it, sort of thing. So yeah. And I mean the characters. Kenneth's Corner is just legendary, and he's such a great lad. Andy is a total nutter sort of thing, but he's this weekend we're going to do a bit of the final Shoreham View sort of thing, just with those characters, just talking about good things, and you know how we created the characters. And I've been in Benidorm and people have come up to me and said, "You're Big Kev, aren't you? Can I have a photograph? Can I have an autograph?" Well, I'm a 67-year-old bloke, sort of thing. You know, I'm fair. I'm an A-lister. I'm just an A-lister.
You are. You absolutely are. And I've got to say, Kev, we want to thank you so much.
No, it's me that wants to thank you guys, because what you've done to help us since this happened is not just you, every blade out there. Honestly, I can put my hand on my heart and say, we love you. What you've done for us to help ease. I mean, this is first probably half an hour, whatever it is, that I haven't been flooding in tears, because I want to tell you lot what you've done for us, and getting that across is the main thing. You know, as I said about the GoFundMe, it don't matter about that really. As far as if you just sent a message, you've done us world of good, and we thank you very, very much.
Absolutely. We want to wish you and the family the very best going forward. You know, Kev, we'll always be here for you, and we'll always remember Jonny. Thank you.
Yeah. And just please, if you're available on the day, come along and support us. If you've got a flag, line that entrance to cemetery with your flags. Let's make it a Blades Day. You've got to wear red and white, though. That's one of Jonny's things. You've got to wear red and white. I've even had to go out and buy a shirt myself from Club Shop, not DHgate. Honest.
I think that's fantastic to leave it there. Thank you so much, Kev. We really appreciate you joining us tonight.
Brilliant. I've enjoyed chatting with you, lads. It's been, and again,
cheers, Kev.
Off camera or whatever, I do, honestly, from the very bottom of my heart, thank you very much for what you've done.